Well, hello. This broadcast is specifically designed for the ladies who have joined our Make It Count program that started in November and made an opportunity for us to turn the last 2 months of the year into productive 2 months of the year and to avoid getting sucked into the holiday dead zone where we don't work and we don't move forward and we don't see progress. And so it's been a little bit since we've had a video broadcast, so I wanted to just bring you up to speed and check in with you before you check out of 2015. So just a couple of quick reminders of some things we've already talked about. Number one, we already talked about the kind of goal that you want to set. And we set a goal that, first of all, could be accomplished by the end of the year. And we set a goal that was based on our activity that we control, not just activity that depends on other people participating. So we avoided goals that have to do with dollars and sales and numbers, and we're focusing on goals that are surrounded around activity that we can all do. Then we looked at scheduling or writing out action steps for the different things you need to do to get you to your goal. We picked a check-in time at the midpoint so that we can see if we need to revise our goal as far as what we do, how long we do it, what amount of time we give to the goal, that sort of thing. And so now we're coming on to just the last couple of weeks of the year. And so I want to know, are you on target to reach your goal? Hopefully you are. And if you aren't, there's still time to assess how much time you have to work on your goal. So we haven't really spent a whole lot of time talking about the time management aspect of your goal setting process. And I want to touch base on this because if you haven't already picked up on this, this whole goal process and the whole Make It Count process can easily be duplicated at the first of the year and every month and every quarter and every year for that matter, in every aspect of your life. This is not just a one-time offer. You can use the systems that you've learned and the tips and tricks that you've learned in so many different ways going forward. So hopefully you're seeing the value of being a part of this group because it should be teaching you something you can reapply in your life over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. So let's talk really quickly about the time management aspect. One of the things that happens when people set goals is they set a deadline. They say, yep, by the end of the year, I want to have accomplished whatever, fill in the blank. Then sometimes they set a check-in point, a midpoint, to see how they're doing along the way, and if anything needs to be tweaked or changed for that goal deadline. Most time people don't do the benchmark, but sometimes people will catch on to that and they'll do that. But what 9 times out of 10 doesn't happen in the goal setting process is that people don't schedule in time to work on the action steps they need to take to get to the goal. So what happens then is that the goal, the action steps for the goal don't get done, and then they reach their deadline or they reach their benchmark and they think, holy crap, I still am so far away from my goal. And then they get frustrated and they give up and they feel like that they can't set goals right and goal setting doesn't work. So we want to avoid that because goal setting does work. It's just a matter of doing it in the right way. So let's talk about creating that time frame to do that. So first of all, we've set the action steps. Then we need to find out how long of a time frame we need to do those action steps. So if you set a goal, a short-term goal that's a 30 to 60-day time frame, hopefully your action steps can be done. If you start to look at your calendar and you've got 2 weeks of vacation and 3 days that you're going to be gone and you know you're working over in your job and there's no time for anything, then you may not have enough actual hours to work on your goal. And that's a really important assessment because if you shoot in the air that, hey, I'm going to hit this goal and this is what I'm going to work for, and then you're stuck because your hands are tied to another job that's demanding or the season or the holidays or vacation or whatever, then you're already stuck behind the 8 ball. You're already doomed to fail. So make sure that you've got enough time. And here's the deal. Action steps, well, let me back up. Your goal itself should be something that doesn't fall into your normal day-to-day routine. This is something extra. This is something bigger that we're shooting for. So your action steps are not normal day-to-day activity. It's something special. It's something focused and targeted to get you to the goal. So you have to schedule times to do that kind of work. It's not going to just happen naturally in your day-to-day routine. So a lot of people miss that. And then, like I said, they don't get those action steps done, and then they don't reach their goal. So if you've listed out 6 or 7 different action steps, and for a short-term goal, that should be about the amount of action steps you have, 6 or 7. You should be able to look at your monthly calendar or your weekly calendars, and say, okay, what time do I have this week, next week, the week after, and the week after to get this done? What days can I devote to doing research or meeting with a new prospective client, or going and talking to an expert, or reading up on material, or developing the website, or working on a brochure? I mean, those are all extra special things that need done, and you need to schedule those into your day planner and your weekly schedule and your monthly calendar. Know you've got the time to do the work before you start out. And if you realize you don't, then you may need to revamp either the deadline for that goal or the goal itself to reflect being able to work in the time frame. See, what happens with people in goal setting is that they set a goal and then they expect for everything in their lives to sort of fit around that, when in reality all the pieces have to work together. So if you need to change the goal, or you need to change your time frame, or you need to change your schedule, or you need to change your calendar, I mean, everything works in harmony to make sure you get the goal done. So it's okay to sort of put something in place, compare it to your calendar, and then make changes as you need before you start. This is before you start the goal. So make sure that you've got time to do the action steps. Now, the time that you set is a very good intention that on Tuesday at 4, you're going to sit down and work on your website. I am here to tell you, if you don't already know this, that life will throw you curveballs, and Tuesday at 4 will probably not automatically work out for you. There will always be a reason to not hold those appointments for your action steps. And let me just tell you, whether you are super, super organized and on top of things, it doesn't really matter. You are going to find that things creep up and keep you from working when you say you are. Perfect example for me, 2 weeks, almost 2 weeks without cell phone service. Because my cell phone broke and it took forever to get one. And then as soon as we got one, my husband broke his phone, and then we switched carriers, and blah, 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 blah. Crazy. Then we were both very sick, and I couldn't even speak. And right now I'm still really congested, but it's getting way better. My husband right now is at the hospital getting a chest x-ray because he can't shake off his bronchitis. He's missed work, which throws a wrench into my plan. We had Friday, my front tire go flat, and realized we needed 2 new tires on our front of our car. So it was in the shop for 2 days, which threw another wrench into our plans. I mean, this is just how life goes. So let me first tell you that, holy cow, it happens to me, it happens to you, we're all in the same boat. It's okay. But here's the thing, when that happens, you need to take a step back and reevaluate your game plan and know how you're going to move forward. That doesn't mean when life kind of creeps up and throws you curveballs and everything happens to sort of derail your plan, that doesn't mean that you throw in the towel and you just walk off the field. No, you still play to the end of your goal deadline. So I don't really know a whole lot about sports, but I'm going to use a couple sports metaphors here. So I'm in Indiana. We're big Colts fans. Go Blue. And when Andrew Luck got hurt this season and wasn't able to play, or isn't able to play still, that didn't mean that the team just like packed up and went home and they didn't play anymore. They had a backup plan. They have a backup quarterback, and Hasselbeck stepped in to throw the ball and to continue out the game plan. If they play a play on the field, if they say, you know what, we're going to throw to this guy and this is how it's going to work out, and it doesn't work, and the defense, totally derails that gameplay, that doesn't mean that they walk away and say, well, I guess you guys won. No, they revamp, they back up, and they figure out a different play, and they try it again, and they go with a different strategy. And the same concept has to be in your mind, because when life throws everything at you, you have to be willing to adapt and to change and to revamp. You can't give up. But you have to still have a plan in place in order to move forward. So how do you do that? How do you restructure and set up that time frame? Well, first of all, you have to know what time that you have to work with. So one of the things that's my biggest planning tool is a weekly planning page. And this is a weekly snapshot that tells me where I set my time to be. And so let me grab mine and I'll show you real quick. So at the beginning of the week, usually on Sunday nights, I sit down with this sheet and I kind of map out where I want to spend my time. Now, that doesn't mean it goes according to plan, but this is where I want to spend my time. And so this is kind of what it looks like. So these are the days of the week at the top. Here's hours of the days. And then I go and color coordinate. Different sections of my life get colors. And I kind of map out where I want to spend my time. Now, what happens, and you'll notice that not everything has color on it. So there's open spots down here and even up here at the top that I don't have anything predetermined there. So what happens when life throws everything at me, I have to decide where on my weekly snapshot can I adjust things. Do I have open times during the week that I can plug something else in? Or do I need to change my plan completely and maybe shift something off of this week's schedule onto next week's schedule? And how will that look? But it only really works when you've got that weekly snapshot, because as soon as you say, you know what, I will do that Wednesday morning, something's going on Wednesday morning and you forgot about it. And then you're stressed out because you didn't realize that you had this set up or that set up, or you thought you were open on Thursday night only to find out that the kids have a school something or other that you've got to be at. So those things happen. And it's not necessarily bad planning. It's just you've got to be able to see the time that you have to work with. And if on this page nothing can change, if you can't, make this work, and there's nothing that can shift here, then by all means you have to make things work next week. And you've got to know what time frame you're working with, and you've got to know what spots you have available to plug things in. Then you go to your daily calendar, and then you plug that in your to-do list. So it's important that that gets written down. So let me just share with you a couple of quick things. First of all, this weekly plan sheet is part of my planner that I developed and is now for sale on Revision's website. So revisionforwomen.com, click on products. This is part of the 2016 planner, and I'll show you the other part of the planner because it is relevant to our discussion today. Okay, so the other thing I do is, so we're talking about scheduling action plans. So let's say that I decided on Monday afternoon that I'm going to work on developing my website. So I have that planned on my weekly plan sheet. And notice there's no appointments written here. These are just like blocked in times. So chunks of time that I want to spend here or there. Then I come to my day planner, and this is the actual daily planning sheet. This is a daily planning sheet that has the times over here, places to write appointments, things to do that have to get done, things that can wait but need to get done, notes and kinds of scribble scrabble spots here at the bottom. But if I mapped out on here that Monday I'm working on my website, then I would come to my daily page for Monday. See, it says Monday, December 14th. And I would write in here that this has to get done today. And then I would maybe even write it in as an appointment over here so I know that it has to get done today. And so then I work on that. That becomes something I focus on that day. Instead of the weeks and the weeks that go by and then all of a sudden you haven't mapped out time. So you may have had good intentions, but it doesn't matter until it gets put down on your daily sheet. And this is, by the way, what our daily sheets look like in our 2016 planner. Anyways, more on that later, but you have to put it on your daily sheet. Then you have to do it. So you actually have to physically do the work. If something happens and you don't get it done, so let's say you had this plan in place and you wrote it here, and then life happens and you get thrown a curveball. We're not going to give up. All we simply need to do is take Monday's page and whatever didn't get done here, whether it was for your goal or it was for something else, and all we're doing is transferring it to the next day. And the reason for that is because mentally you need to be reminding yourself of all the things that you want to do. But instead of trying to keep it just in your brain, putting it on paper helps you remember, it helps you keep your mind focused, and it helps you realize that that these are the things that still need my attention. So Monday, because we were still all very sick in our house, I had really good intentions to do all these things here, and it didn't happen. I only got 2 of the things done. So guess what? I had to go back on this page, on today's page, and rewrite those things because I need to make up for it. And that also meant that a couple of these things on here shifted to a different part of the week. And all I'd simply do is flip to that day of the week and write it in my to-do list. And I don't have to remember it anymore. And that's probably the really cool part and the really best thing about these planners is that you don't have to rely on your brain. You can flip to the next page or flip 2 weeks from now and start writing in your action steps, so you know where you're at. And you can predetermine or pre-write in your planner your benchmark date, your deadline date, so you can check into the things that you need to get done. Last thing I want to share with you about this whole time management thing is the fact that, number one, this is a really important topic, because if you feel like you can't get a grip of your time, then you'll never feel like you can accomplish a goal, because you will always feel discouraged every time life creeps up and throws its ugly face at you. You will think, well, why am I doing this? And it's frustrating. It's so frustrating. I have been there. But keeping the planning sheets, the weekly planning sheet, the daily planning sheets handy and using them works. So a couple last things on this. First of all, set a time for yourself each week to map out your week. So it depends on you when you want that to be. I do that on Sunday night after my stepkids go back to their moms. The weekend kind of winds down. We're sort of relaxing Sunday night, watching the football game or just kind of chilling out. I grab my planning book. I map out my week. I then look at my appointments for the week. I get things set up and strategize. I know what to do as soon as Monday morning hits. I hit the ground running and I go. Maybe Saturday morning is that time for you, or Saturday night, I don't know. Whenever it is, set yourself a routine for that, so that you have that in place. Hold on one second here. So anyways, so you have that in place. So make sure you set that routine for yourself, because it is important for you to get that locked in so that you can see everything that needs your attention for the week, instead of just bouncing from day to day hoping that you get it. So that's how I would challenge you on that. I really do also challenge you to go check out the business planner, the 2016 planner on our site. There's also a 2016 business tracker, and it really is a business planner more than a tracker, but I didn't want to get the two confused, so I called it a tracker. But basically what this does, it helps you strategize for the year, for marketing, for finances, for business plans, for goals. It walks you through all of that, so that you can set those things up in place. So if you want to know more information about that, just contact me. But it'll be really good for you to have those kinds of resources at your fingertips if you are looking to really put yourself in the right spot for 2016. So here's your homework assignment. First, email me, and you've got my email address, so email me your what you're going to do these next week or two, week and a half, before the end of the year, considering what your schedule is for the next 2 weeks. So don't try to conquer the world in 2 weeks. Just what can you do in 2 weeks? Let's set something up really quickly. Know you're going to get it done, and know at the end of the year when the ball drops, like, woohoo, I accomplished a couple things in these last couple weeks. Then I am going to, once you email me that, that's the key, email me that, then I will respond back, of course with feedback, but I will also respond back with some times that we can set together in the first couple of weeks of the new year to strategize together and power plan together your 2016. This is huge. This is something normally my clients pay a couple $100s for. I'm actually putting that on sale right now for $100, but it's part of your Make It Count program. So for $56, you got this whole program, plus you're getting a workbook that we'll be sending out to you shortly. And you're also getting this power planning session. So lots of value here. Hope you love it. So make sure you email me what you're going to do so that we can get your time set up for your power plan. And we'll make sure that 2016 starts off with a killer bang for you and that it ended just as successfully. So hope you're having a great week. Can't wait to hear from you. Let me know by all means if there's anything I can do for you. Be encouraged, be empowered, be inspired, and we'll talk to you later.